We are pleased to be joined right now on the Arizona Sports Line by the general manager of your Arizona Diamondbacks, Mike Hazen. Mike, thank you for the time. I know it's a busy week. I know this is what you guys play for, to be in this position, but it's not going the way you want this week. Where does your mind go first?
Yeah. Last night wasn't great. Starting with Sunday's game, and through the last couple of days, and it's hard. It's hard to process because of the way we played in those first three games in Milwaukee, and to look at where we are now. It's a challenge. We certainly didn't want to be in this position where we brought the pack up to us, but that's happened now. And 4 games to go. We still have every opportunity in front of us. We need to go out and play the caliber of baseball that we've played for the majority of this season to get us where we even are standing here today. And we're capable of doing that. We have a good baseball team, and we've gone through some of these ruts only to have a boomerang back on us where we felt, where we were after game 2 in Colorado last week. So it's the ebbs and flows of this are still happening as much as everybody wanted to, race off into the playoffs and prepare for next Tuesday or whatever would come after that. That's not going to happen for us. So we need to go grind these next 4 days and get in. And my hope is we get to 90 wins. That's kind of the marker I was hoping we would get to during the course of the season. It's still possible. We're talented enough to do that. And I think if we can put ourselves in that position, we should have a chance to at least get in, and that's what we're hoping to do over the next 4 games.
Yeah, sorry, Mike, to cut you off right there. Listen, in the game of football, man, it's so easy. Like, you get in your teammate's face and you say, "Try harder, right? Man, it doesn't work that way in baseball, right? It just doesn't. What does that look like, though? What does intensity look like and try harder look like in the game of baseball to you?
Yeah, it's a weird thing for everyone to be able to process, Wolf, because we as human beings, that I think that's the easy reaction, right? Is try harder. These guys are trying. Right?
Yes.
They're working their ass off. They're trying. I'm sure they feel this. It's not. They're human. Like they know what's at stake, right? You don't need to go down there or remind them what's at stake. You don't need to. They've been together now for 7 to 8 months, working, and have, for the most part, worked better than last year, right? In terms of how many wins we have right now, and how we've played, and where we dug ourselves out of these first 2 months when everybody was hurt, and kept ourselves in this to even put ourselves into this position. It feels differently this morning. I get it. We all feel that way, but I think the try harder moves into a calmness about and focus around what we do well as a team.
Yeah.
And what we do well as a team is we've gone out and bludgeoned the baseball in the second half of the season. Okay, that comes and goes on a night-to-night basis. You can't necessarily count on that. But our pitching needs to go out and execute the pitches, and our defense needs to make plays and allow the running game and our athleticism to go out there and play good baseball games day after day. Not all 4 of them today, 1 game today, and go out and play well and play a good baseball game. So I think that's what try harder means to me, is a calmness and a focus around, we have a baseball game to win today, and there are things that we need to do and prepare in order. We're not just going to go out there and do it. The Giants are a good team. They are playing hard. They're winning a ton of games. They have a good bullpen. So we have to go out and earn it, which is fine. We've risen in these situations and during the course of the season, but we need to go out there and do that. And wishing and hoping it's going to happen, or squeezing the bat tighter, or squeezing the baseball tighter, that ain't going to get it done.
Right.
We need to be able to go out there and execute when the pressure is highest. And quite frankly, if you're going to plan to run through October and play the elite teams on the road and beat them, you have to play better baseball, and we need to start doing that no matter what, starting today.
We're talking to Mike Hazen, and Mike, and the team's a little bit different this year than last year, but the majority of it was there last year, and you guys did play as deep into October as you can. So you have a lot of experience on this team, even if it's young guys playing games with their season on the line. Do you expect that might help at all here in the next few days?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. We've done this before, unfortunately. We've come out the other side of this, and I think that should absolutely put these guys mentally in a position of, we played with our backs against the wall for 2. This wasn't how anybody wanted to draw it up. Like I said before, You want to be able to just get in and set everything up and, match up and advance and figure out who you're going to, what sort of matchups you're going to target. Unfortunately, it's not the way it's going to work. The way it's going to work is back against the wall, go out and play your best baseball, which is what October is every single day. We did that for 30 days last year pretty well, even through the World Series, which didn't go our way, but we played pretty well through a lot of those games. We have the capability to do it. I think we have a better team in a lot of ways, at least depth-wise, deeper than it was last year. So I believe that we have every capability of doing the same thing. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. We're playing good baseball teams for the next 4 days. And the landscape is different from where it was, where everybody's kind of losing their way in last year. The two teams next to us are really good teams, and they're winning. So we have to keep pace with that, and we'll see what happens. It'll be four very interesting days of baseball for us, and it's what we've worked for. So we need to go out and do it.
Yeah, for me, Mike, once again, more times than not, talent wins out in the end. I don't care what sport you're playing. Talent is going to rear its head, and it's going to win in the end. That's what I believe. I think you have that kind of talent on this team, and you basically just said that. You still believe that you're going to win this thing, right? Like you're going to actually get into the postseason.
That's right, of course. My hope is that we're going to win 90 games. Yes, that. And again, what does that matter? Right? Nothing. What I hope and what I want, nothing. Doesn't matter. To your point, the talent that's on the field that goes out and executes is what matters. And we do have that. And we have really good players. We don't just have good players. We have elite players. And you win with elite players in this league. And we have that. I'm not saying we're clicking on elite levels at all times right now. I get that. But we have that talent, and we have some experience now. It's not even a situation where we can all sit here and be like, well, we've never done this before, so who knows what's going to happen. That's not the case either, right? We've been here, we've seen this, and we have talented players. That's why I believe we have the opportunity to do this.
Talking to Mike Hazen. Mike, tonight, obviously a huge game. Zac Gallen on the mound. So as like you said, you would rather just be in already, but being in this position, there's probably nobody you'd rather have out there than Zac Gallen?
Nobody I'd rather have out there. Absolutely not. Like, this is it. This is the guy. And that's good. And it lines up for where, of course, this is exactly the situation. If you were put into this situation, this is what you would hope was lined up. Now, it doesn't mean we roll the balls out there and we're going to win the game, right? We all know that. We have to go out there and play better baseball because we could be throwing a bullpen game. And if we're playing good baseball and picking the ball up defensively and having good at-bats, we'll beat that other team too. So it's a matter of us playing better baseball. And Zac is going to set the tone. We need to play behind him, and we need to grind out at-bats like we were doing last weekend. And that will be a good starting point for us to get through the next 4 games.
So, Mike, I've got to ask you this. I'm sorry. I hope you don't feel attacked here, but Ketel Marte asking for a day off, did that catch you by surprise with 6 games to go?
You know this, Wolf, right? Like he's an elite player and an elite athlete.
Yeah.
And he pushed himself through that ankle injury, and we lost him for weeks after that. Okay.
Right.
And I respected that he pushed himself through that ankle injury. We were on board with it. It's what guys do at that time. Like it's hard for me to honestly to go back if that same player is telling us, hey man, it's hard for me to sit there and be like, you got to go shut up and play. It's a hard thing for me to say that when we just watched what we watched a month ago and then lost them for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And feeling like you take that attitude and that approach when he knows his body better than anybody else. Look, was it unfortunate timing? Sure, I get it. I'm not sure that one player was going to turn that Monday game around.
Yeah.
We have to play better as a team. We have played elite baseball in this league without Ketel, Gurriel, Moreno.
Yeah.
At various points in times, these guys have not been there, and we've still, as a team, managed to go out and play baseball games. That's what this is about. It's about our team, and that team now is on the field, and we have to go out and play good baseball games for the next 4 days.
You got to trust your guys as well. I mean, it just comes down to it. You have to trust them to make the right decision.
Mike, we appreciate the time as always, man. Hopefully we're talking to you again in the postseason, all right?
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Talk to
you,
soon.
Mike.
That's Mike Hazen, Diamondbacks general manager, joining us right there on the Arizona Sports Line ahead of tonight's game. Boy, I mean, they are all huge. You could hear it in his voice. And he said it, you want Zac Gallen out there tonight, and that's who you get.
I mean, the intensity, you can just feel it. The intensity level is there. The guy is a competitor.
It's got to be this is when being a GM has to be one of the toughest jobs in sports. You've put your team together. There's nothing as a GM you can do now. I mean, even Torrey, I'm sure, sort of feels like he has his hands tied a little bit, but he can make decisions in the game, right? He can't go out there and swing the bat or pitch, but he can at least, he's there. But if you're the GM, like, you've put together this team, and it is a better team than last year's. And they already have more wins than last year, but it's getting tougher and tougher to get in now.
You got to trust your players to go out, and talent wins in the end.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.